listening to the Planetary Broadcast Network, transmitting from sea to shining sea and low Earth orbit in high-fidelity monaural audio.
To Mr. and Mrs. America, and to all the ships at sea, welcome to the Planetary Broadcast Network Evening News, August 7th, 1953. I'm James Dixon, speaking to you from PBN headquarters in downtown Rocket City, Maine, New York. Our top story tonight, countries everywhere. The recent uproar over amendments to Senate bills designed to fund small, independent rebel nations has drawn attention to the increasing number of these so-called banana republics. In every corner of the globe, new nations spring up by the hour, most of them basing their territorial claims on international waters rather than land. What is the purpose of these tiny countries, many of whom have only a dozen citizens? Are they truly independent or a Russian ploy? Can they hope to survive? PBN News has arranged an exclusive interview with a representative of the Independent Republic of Free Capitalist Possum Island, a newly formed state just off the coast of Canada. More on this breaking story shortly. In local news, well-known Rocket City attorney Bob Harrison is happy to have his wife and service robot back home in Rocket City tonight after they were freed from a remote commune in western Dakota last week. State police served a warrant last Wednesday on the Brotherhood of the Nucleus compound and discovered a community of over 85 humans and robots living together in the 8 buildings on the site. Located in the rugged Dakota Mountains, approximately 40 miles from Whitefish, the compound has been at the center of several investigations and at least 2 lawsuits in recent years. Past allegations against the religious organization have included tax evasion, kidnapping, and reckless robot operation. But yesterday's warrant was a truancy notice for the 16 minors at the site who have no record of schooling or vaccinations. Harrison's wife was found living in the commune along with the family's domestic service robot and landscaping robot. Although she was reluctant to leave, after several intensive sessions with deprogramming expert Dr. Robert McAfee, Mrs. Harrison agreed to rejoin her husband in Rocket City. The domestic service robot, a deluxe Jeeves XLS, was returned also, but the Mr. Green Thumb landscaping unit escaped and is still at large. A robot spokesman for the group released a statement this morning claiming that all of the children are being homeschooled by a Tot Tutor 2600 and their vaccinations have all been handled by a Metabot home version. It also stated that the message of the Brotherhood of the Nucleus is one of peace and coexistence between robots and man, and asked that its people be allowed to live as they choose. Mrs. Harrison could not be reached for comment. And now for a word from our sponsor, Plutonium R Us. In these politically uncertain times, you want to protect your family's investments. But old-fashioned common sense about dollars and cents will only get you so far. You need something that's worth more than the paper it's printed on. That's why we're calling all family providers and forward-minded citizens to invest in plutonium. And we don't mean invest like buy a share in a mine. The plutonium is all yours, a nice big block of it in our premium patent-pending protective enclosure. Keep it in the basement for a rainy fallout day. No matter what happens in our increasingly dangerous world, people will still want plutonium, and that means safety and security for your family for generations to come. So, buy plutonium now, or as we call it at Plutonium R Us, peace of mind. In Washington this morning, First Lady Helena Morrow presided over a ribbon-cutting and dedication ceremony for James Randi Memorial High School, the country's first prep school for Psi adepts. The campus, located just blocks from Capitol Hill, is a state-of-the-art facility housed in a refitted bomb shelter. Sources say some 40% of the $21 million renovations bill was covered by an endowment from the First Lady's Youth for Tomorrow Foundation, while the remainder of the cost was donated by anonymous benefactors. Although the school has dormitory space for over 100 students, administrators expect to accept only 20 special students for this first class. Choosing those 20 students from the thousands of applicants will be no easy task. Finalists will be tested on the strength and control of their psi skills, and their personalities will be evaluated by a team of psychologists for compatibility and soundness. In her prepared statement, the First Lady encouraged all students aged 13 to 17 who have exhibited telekinesis, telepathy, teleportation, empathy, precognition, or any other psi skill to consider applying. She also reminded us that other countries have been developing youth psi programs for a decade already. So if you have psi powers, it is your duty as a patriotic American to apply. And now a word from one of our fine sponsors, Drubble Shipyards. Are you tired of the same old Polynesian vacations? At Drubble Tours, we'll show you a side of Hawaii you've never seen, the underside. Book a 3, 5, or 7-day cruise on one of our full-service luxury submarines and see the Pacific the way the fish do. Enjoy cocktails and 5-star dining in one of the many restaurants on board, or belly up to Captain Nemo's buffet for all-you-can-eat deep-sea crab, caught fresh each day in our dragnets. The kids will love our octopus and urchin petting pool, and the missus can get a seaweed wrap at our world-class spa, Mermaid's Cove. Don't settle for another dull vacation topside. Let Drubble Tours show you Davy Jones' locker without even getting your feet wet. In other news from Washington, today marked the 4th day in a row of protests on Capitol Hill, both for and against the controversial Biological Sentience Bill. The bill, sponsored by Senator Owen Proctor of Wairarado, defines sentience as biological in origin. Those opposed to the bill say it is simply a ploy to stop the robot personhood bill sponsored by Representative Carmen Clark in the House. Protesters from the opposing sides were separated by barricades and a large police presence. Officials report there were no arrests, but a few scuffles did break out. Absent from the demonstrations was the leader of the robot personhood movement, a Woodhouse-model domestic service bot who now wishes to be known as Adam. Protest organizers told the press today that because the charismatic robot had received several credible deactivation threats, he was watching the protests on TV at an undisclosed location. Neither Senator Proctor nor Representative Clark could be reached for comment. Here's a message from our newest sponsor, Fat Brussels Brewery. Long-time listeners may remember that an unplanned release occurred at a nuclear plant in New Nevada 2 months ago, prompting the immediate evacuation of the nearest town, Fulton, and its population of 80,000. Residents returned 2 weeks later after tests confirmed that the radiation had subsided and life continued on as before. Almost. Now, Fulton's finest microbrewery, Fat Brussels, is announcing the sale of their brand new, one-of-a-kind, heavy water stout. This fine beverage was midway through the brewing process when the release occurred, and was subjected to slight, safe levels of radiation. The resulting stout has already been praised by critics and ordinary drinkers alike as a unique taste experience, and its faint green glow is sure to make a stir at parties. The stocks of this special brew are in short supply, and the price continues to rise as collectors bid to secure a taste before this great stout is gone forever. So call Fat Brussels to secure your case or keg of this atomic age ale today. We return to the news. Scientists have discovered that perhaps calling someone a bird brain is not really an insult. A researcher at the Institute for Animal Communication, located in Cornwall, has released a paper on the startling communicative skills of ravens. The common raven has long been known for the ability to solve physical puzzles, but Dr. Edwin Corvus believes he has finally deciphered the elaborate code of body postures, beak gestures, and vocalizations that make up their language. By wearing a prosthetic beak and a feathered tail, Corvus can even speak with ravens. Experts critical of the study say that much more research is needed to confirm the findings and explore their applicability. Other researchers have gone so far as to say that Corvus is the victim of wishful thinking and confirmation bias. One ornithologist, who wished to remain anonymous, said, quote, "Eddie has been trying to talk to ravens for over 40 years. I think the strain just got to him," unquote. Undaunted by the criticism, Corvus dons his raven costume daily and practices conversing with the ravens housed at the Institute. So far, he has learned that ravens prefer to eat meat over fruit. But if all you have is fruit, then apples are pretty good. Also, shiny things are great. He expects more insights in the coming months. Time for the weather. The United States Weather Bureau at Glen Air Spaceport in Maine, York, reports a current temperature of 72 degrees with a 35-mile-per-hour wind. Heavy rain is expected, and there are severe acid rain warnings for the western half of the state, so stay indoors as much as possible. The low today was 50 degrees, and for tomorrow we can expect a high of 73 degrees with a low of 52. The 3-day forecast predicts more of the same, with heavy normal rain, acid rain warnings, and highs in the 70s. Keep your radios tuned to learn of work and school cancellations. The regional forecast also calls for heavy rains over much of Delamark, though the acid rain warnings there are only moderate. Further south is warm and cloudy, with temperatures in Masalina peaking at 88 degrees. We can expect to see those balmy temperatures fall as the storm moves south. Again, keep your radios tuned for more information on the acid rain warnings and work and school closures. And now, on to our top story tonight, and our exclusive on-air interview with a representative from the Independent Republic of Free Capitalist Possum Island, Mr. Henry Penn. Mr. Penn, thank you for joining us.
I'm afraid it's actually Captain Penn.
Forgive me, Captain Henry Penn, thank you for joining us for this exclusive interview.
Well, your network certainly offered a reasonable donation to our worthy cause, and I feel obligated to spread the word of our free capitalist nation through whatever press is available, even entertainment radio such as this.
Well, thank you. Perhaps you could enlighten myself and our intelligent listeners as to just what you mean by a free capitalist country, starting with perhaps the exact size of said country.
Possum Island is a tiny place, of course. I would never attempt to deny that. But even the smallest candle, eh? And we are part of, that is to say, we are closely allied with other worthy nations who are striving for freedom, such as our excellent neighbor, the revolutionary principality of the archipelago of St. Genevieve. Although our governments have highly different philosophies, we are, nevertheless, united in our commitment to intellectual, moral, and economic freedom for our citizens. We believe...
And how many citizens would that be, Captain?
I beg your pardon?
Exactly how many citizens does your utopia encompass?
Well, at the moment there are...
You can combine the population of your island and that other one you just mentioned, if you like. Swell the ranks a little.
Excuse me, but there is no need to inflate our numbers or misrepresent our population. The Independent Republic of Free Capitalist Possum Island is a small country, only 6 months old, and yet, in that time, we've gone from just over 100 members to nearly 1,000. That's a growth rate that no other country in the world has experienced, and we're very proud of what we've already achieved to our citizen members. Excellent healthcare, full employment, and wise, ecologically friendly use of all natural resources. I challenge you, sir, to compare that sort of progress with any other nation on Earth.
I apologize. That is indeed impressive.
And I'd like to inform all your listeners that we are offering a special on-citizen membership through the end of this month only.
Excuse me, a what?
A sale, if you will, on citizen membership amounting to 15% off to the end of this month only, resulting in savings of up to...
You have to pay to be a citizen?
Sir, the Independent Republic of Free Capitalist Possum Island does not impinge upon the income of our citizen members with taxes. All the revenue our government requires is collected up front as a flat fee, with no hidden costs or scaling in any way. A pauper and a prince pay exactly the same rate to enjoy the same benefits and privileges of citizenship, and they can do so with no fear of ever-changing tax laws or scurrilous tax collectors seizing increasing portions of their hard-won prosperity.
That sounds expensive.
Well, As I was trying to say, we're having a special on membership, which means the cost is reduced to $2,995 American.
$2 million?
Well, closer to 3.
That's ridiculous.
For a lifetime in a tax-free nation with a growing economy and a passport now recognized by 46 countries? That's a bargain.
How do you have 1,000 citizens?
Well, in addition to annual sales, we also offer a work-to-buy program in which interested consumers can donate a certain number of years of labor to the state, upon which they will be awarded citizenship free and clear.
Donate so this labor isn't paid for?
Participants are provided with all the basics of life during their time in the program, and when they graduate, they are automatically offered a stake in Possum Island Enterprises, an increasingly valuable corporation on the world markets.
Well, this is slavery. At the very least, it's indentured servitude.
Oh, so they should instead fork over a third or half of their income every year for the rest of their lives and pay rent or a mortgage and juggle an ever-increasing food bill on top of it all, with no opportunity to develop their own business?
But it's slavery.
So's your way. And our participants also have the opportunity of a lifetime to refine their skills in our ever-growing business sector, agricultural regions, and particularly our Navy, which features some of the finest seafaring vessels and most advanced airships in the entire world. It's an engineer's paradise, and it's available only for a limited time.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Did you say airships?
I did indeed.
You have airships. Ships that fly in the air. Aren't those just planes?
Sir, our airship is to your plane as a bottle of fine wine is to a single watered-down shot of bathtub gin. And that goes as size comparison as well. Why, my flagship is...
Do you have proof that you possess advanced machines of this nature?
Do I have proof? Do I have proof? Young man, I suggest you ask your own government for that. Doubtless, they are currently photographing and duplicating every inch of my flagship, which they shot down in broad daylight in full violation of international law only 2 days ago. Well, let them have it. Our innovators are already...
Excuse me, Captain, but are you claiming that the U.S. Navy attacked your plane?
Airship. I do not need to make claims about that which is fact, and I encourage you to ask your own military leaders how they intend to use this stolen technology, which I must say is already being surpassed at Possum Island's state-of-the-art laboratories.
So you have no proof?
Young man, you seem to be a rather ignorant kind of person. But I hope you will take this well-meant advice to heart. Your government officials in the U.S. know perhaps 1/10 of what is actually happening on this world of ours. And of that 1/10, they communicate less than 1/100th to your so-called news leaders, most of whom are as bought and paid for as a fleet of robot butlers. If you truly want to understand current events, you're going to have to explore them on your own. And you're very likely going to stick your neck out doing it, too. Farewell, and good luck.
Captain Penn, come in. Captain... Heck, he's gone. Well, I guess that wraps up our interview with Captain Henry Penn of the Independent Republic of Free Capitalist Possum Island. You've been listening to the PBN Evening News for August 7th, 1953. This is James Dixon wishing you a brighter tomorrow.
Stay tuned for episode 17B of Fission Girl. When we left our intrepid heroine, Fission Girl had just used her one-man teleporter to hop to Jupiter's moon, Io. While she's harvesting fracculated dustonium crystals from the Earth's laser defense array, the gray alien army approaches Jupiter. Fission Girl has jumped right into their clutches. Marie is still stationed at NASA. Can she warn Fission Girl in time? You can help them by using your decoder ring. Fission Rangers, set your rings and prepare to decipher this top-secret communication from faithful Marie herself. 82, 69, 81, 85, 69, 83, 84, 77, 73, 83, 83, 73, 79, 78, 88, 74, 50, 53, 54. But will the aid of the Fission Rangers be enough to warn Fission Girl before she's captured by the menacing Greys? Find out in episode 17B, The Gray Zone, right after this message from our sponsor, Hair Today. This edition of the Planetary Broadcast Network was written by Rebecca and Linus Callahan and voiced by Christopher Conde and Michael Harris on Fiverr.com. The theme music was written by Henry Phillips. The Planetary Broadcast Network is produced by Lost Island Entertainment and is on the web at planetarybroadcastnetwork.com. We thank you for listening.